Hey guys, Drifter here. With E3 right around the corner, I wanted to talk about new console rumors for the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox 4, Xbox 720, Xbox 2, Xbox Zero, Nextbox. Their naming system's a little crazy. We're going to call it Xbox 4 or maybe Nextbox from here on in, but I want to be clear that when I get into this video that this is not news and verified facts, with the exception of the first section, which are some things that have been confirmed by company executives. These are literally all unverified rumors, but I do think that some of them are interesting. So let's start off with what we know about the PlayStation 5 for sure. It's got a CPU based on AMD's 3rd generation 8-core Ryzen processor and a custom GPU based on the AMD Radeon Navi line, which is much better than what we've got now, to say the least, and it is not uncommon that these are custom. They very rarely put PC parts in directly, though they'll probably be similar and comparable to other things that AMD's manufacturing. This GPU is, however, supposed to do ray tracing, real-time light reflections like you would see in Battlefield 5 or on the NVIDIA RTX line. Now, that is an extremely demanding technology that just brutalizes my current 2080 Ti on my PC, so I have no clue how they're going to do that on console. The new CPU is supposed to natively support 3D audio, whatever that is. It's supposed to be really good spatial audio, so instead of depending on the games to have to like good footstep sounds and good orientation or headphones or speakers or whatever, that it's going to have 3D audio and just do all of that natively. Sure, I just hope that works. An odd one is that it's supposed to support 8K resolution, which is, I would say, why? I don't even know of anybody wanting 8K TVs right now, and I think that media sizes would be insane. Now, I had the same opinion when the PlayStation 4 and the current Xbox came out, that 4K support was largely unnecessary for console games because they can't scale resolutions that well anyway, and that most people wouldn't have the bandwidth to download or stream 4K media content either. And while I was wrong in some sense in that 4K TVs did become popular and some niche markets did emerge, the vast majority of people are watching 1080p content on their 4K TVs, and with 8K that's even a bigger scaling, so I can't imagine it's too useful. The PlayStation 5 is supposed to have a faster solid state drive that's at least 10 times faster than what we have now, so game saves load a lot quicker. It is confirmed that the system will support physical disk. I know the rumor has been going around for a long time that it'll be diskless. That doesn't seem to be true, and there are at least some games that are going to be backwards compatible. We don't know how many or what, but they did confirm, and I think this is one of the craziest ones, is that the PlayStation VR headset itself and some of the games are going to be backwards compatible, so you can play VR on PSVR current on the new PlayStation 5 whenever it comes out. That's a lot to take in, but let's move on to the next section on what we know about the Xbox 4, or I'm just going to call it the Nextbox for now. What we do know is that there will actually be 2 products that come out at the same or very similar times, 2 different Xboxes, and as much as this is seemingly mind-blowing, it's actually confirmed. We have Lockhart and Anaconda. Lockhart is hardware specs that are very similar to the PlayStation 5. There's not really even a need to repeat them because they're all kind of hitting on the same notes, and this makes sense on convergent design. But the neat thing about Lockhart is this is the cheaper entry-level console, and it's designed to stream games through the cloud. You don't even have to download the games or have a disc. It's like a cloud gaming service, and I know that they've been selling some of these. I saw Linus Tech Tip doing a review on one of these services, and to the best of my ability to understand, it's not a downloading thing, it's not like a Steam box, it's not a disc player, though it can do those things, but you can also just stream the game through the cloud if your internet is good enough. And I'm beginning to suspect that maybe Mixer, who I'm currently streaming with, was just one gigantic test for this console, because Mixer focuses on nearly 0 delay streams. Like, there are times where I can just close out my game and go look on my other monitor and just play from my stream, and the delay is to the point where it's not really important and I can still play just fine. So maybe Mixer was refining that technology. They've also invested extremely heavily into cloud and streaming services. So this one, it's a crazy one. I can't believe it. But moving on, the other Xbox is called Xbox Anaconda. I hope it's as good as the 1996 Anaconda with J-Lo, but it has similar specs to the Lockhart with 2 key differences. It has slightly more RAM and a much more powerful GPU, 3 to 4 times more powerful on the GPU. This is designed to be the high-end premium device that plays a lot more physical media, that does a lot more 4K, 8K, and higher demand games. They're not really specific on what the difference is, but my guess is I see the Xbox Anaconda being like the Xbox One X compared to the original Xbox One. The streaming system, the Lockhart, will be kind of like your entry kind of console, a cheaper price point to get in there and play some games. And the Xbox Anaconda will be for the enthusiasts like myself that have to play with the fanciest graphics and the best settings and all the nicest things. So it's crazy that they're doing this, and it's legit and it's confirmed. But now let's move on to some actual rumors. We'll move past the confirmed stuff and talk about some juicy rumors. PlayStation 5 reveal time is not likely to be this year. They seem to be targeting 2020 or maybe even a 2021 release. However, oddly, Sony has dropped out of E3 entirely this year. There will be no Sony at E3. There'll be some PlayStation games, of course, but Sony corporate won't have a presence there. And it'll be the first time that's happened in decades, as long as I can possibly remember. So the rumor that's generating is that they plan to hold their own event to announce the new console sometime after E3. Like, I don't know if it's not ready yet, or they want total marketing control, or they don't want to go to head-to-head with Xbox. It's also much cheaper to do it this way. Everything at E3 is incredibly expensive, so having your own event just saves you a ton of money. That's exactly why EA has EA Play. The next box is generating a lot of buzz around E3, and it looks like it might actually be announced there this year. I mean, there's a real possibility that this year we go there and the next Xbox is revealed, because Microsoft has been much more open about how long they're working on it, what they're targeting, what the specs are, and the release times as well. For the next Xbox, we're looking at almost guaranteed a 2020 release, and there are some reasonable rumors and indications that we might actually get a Christmas 2019 release or a November 2019 for the new Xbox, at least the Lockhart one for that matter. Sticking with Microsoft, I continually hear rumors that Microsoft and Microsoft Gaming and Xbox and, you know, the whole corporate umbrella that they're under, and is coming up with some kind of VR headset to compete with PSVR. I know they've worked very closely with Oculus, developing some native support for some things in Windows. They have their own alternate reality things they're working on. They have their own Windows mixed reality headset, and they've been playing with the technology for a long time, but I've heard rumors that they're going to be launching a console headset, that you get to use the Windows headset, that it has native Oculus support. That's been a really big rumor because they've been working so closely together that you can just plug in your Oculus and use it, or that it has a sort of generic headset software system, much more akin to a PC, so you can hook in your Vive or your weird Chinese device or whatever, and it generally works. And I think that there is absolutely no way that they don't have a VR device on the next generation of consoles, because VR, we hope, is going to continue to grow, and Sony has the market by like a stranglehold right now. And moving along in the same vein, there's no way that Sony doesn't have a PlayStation VR 2 planned for their console. Because right now, Sony is the #1 VR headset in the world, the #1 VR market in the world, and the #1 at VR in everything. They have a massive install base that just completely dwarfs Oculus and Vive and mobile VR and everything. That's why you see so many companies trying to get these exclusive deals to be PSVR exclusive, because that's where the money is. So for the PlayStation 5, having much more powerful hardware than the PlayStation 4, I find it hard to believe that they don't launch a new PSVR headset like PSVR 2 to try and compete with the PC boys. So I have PSVR at home, and I like the technology. I know a lot of the VR enthusiasts kind of poop on it because it's lower resolution and the tracking's not as good. But it's simple. It is real VR. It works, and it works on your console without like a $1,200 PC and a $700 rig, and you don't have to deal with all that. It's nice. But it's technologically inferior to the other two. The Oculus and the Vive deliver much higher quality visuals and gameplay, so there's no way that Sony's going to ignore that. They're going to have an upgrade. And the last thing I want to talk about is that I've been hearing rumors that both systems are considering a lease-to-own model. This is one that I heard about so long ago that I honestly forgot who I was even talking about it with, but the conversation stuck in my head, and it goes roughly like cell phones are right now. Nobody goes out and buys a $1,200 cell phone. You don't. Most people don't. There's a few exceptions. You know, you see them selling on Amazon, but let's be real. 95% of people go to their cellular provider, and they pick out a phone and they pay for that phone with a lease over some number of years on a contract. That way they don't have to drop $1,000 to get a new phone. Well, since console companies, except Nintendo, don't turn a profit on the game consoles that they sell, but only the video games, this business model makes a lot more sense than anything else. Like Xbox and Sony, they don't make money selling consoles. They make money selling games, I guarantee you on that. So the idea is that when fall 2020 rolls around and all the new consoles are out and mommy and daddy want to get their kid a Christmas present, do they go out and buy a brand new $600, $800, $1,000 console, whatever it's going to be, or do they sign up and lease one for $30 a month or $40 a month starting right now, and you just walk out of that store, $40 your first monthly payment, and you've got your fancy new console in hand? Then the companies will make plenty of money back selling games on that console. So instead of somebody buying a $600 console and having money for like 2 games, they could get a $30 console and then spend money on like 3 or 4 or 5 games for all their kids or their family or whatever, which will generate more profit for the game company. And they're still getting that lease payment every month. If they break the console, they have to replace it, or you have to send it back or do an insurance thing. They'll make money on it just like cell phones. And I've also heard that this is more of a product life cycle upgrade kind of thing, kind of like how cell phones are incremental. When a new console comes out, you'll just get shipped the new console. The new console will just take over your old lease and you just trade them out, and there's no, like, your price doesn't go up, your money doesn't go out, and it's just fine. You just get the new one and you keep going and you don't have to worry about it. I initially hated this idea. I thought this idea was horrible. It was super irritating because I love the idea of product ownership. I like to own the things that I own, and this is sort of an old school attitude because modern society is almost post-ownership. We're very big into leasing, to renting, rent to own. We're post-repair. A lot of states are considering a right to repair law because so many companies try to make it illegal, like Apple, for you to repair their devices. And it's also sort of a post-legal rights zone as well. You'll notice that a lot of companies that you do business with require you to sign arbitration agreements, which waives your right to trial by jury. Those are questionably legal, but generally accepted. And the whole idea of owning nothing and just having the right to pay money to access things is really scary. So I initially didn't like it. But looking back from a consumer perspective, I can see why it would appeal to so many people. I don't have to save up so many hundreds of dollars to buy the new console. I can just get it relatively cheaply, and it'll benefit me as a content creator because it'll flood my YouTube channel with new viewers on their new fancy consoles. So there's some self-interest in that as well. Guys, that's all the rumors I know. That's all the confirmed stuff. That's literally everything I've heard. I hope that you all enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something useful. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.